please visit us at www.riseuptalk.com. You can upload your videos and the stories of your life in this platform. First, you have to sign up and fill out the form. Then we will send you an email confirmation. After that, you can upload your videos. Here at Rise Up Talk, your story makes a difference. Good evening to all the Rise Up Talkers and all our kababayan, mga kaibigan natin, and mga pamilya natin who's been following the Rise Up Talk. You know, this pandemic, our attention has been geared towards a lot of other things, but there's a specific area that has really touched our lives and at the same time impacted us so much during this pandemic. This is the food sector, this is the agriculture area. Hindi yan siya pinag-uusapan all the time, but we are so blessed this evening that we have with us the Secretary of Agriculture himself, our very own Secretary William Dar, to really share with us and inspire us with his insights, his programs, and his advocacies in the Department of Agriculture. And together with him also is a very good friend and a newly appointed food security ambassador of our country. And of course, you know her, she's Miss Cherrie Atilano. Kasi, you know, during this pandemic, ang daming restrictions, but we have already realized and appreciated our farmers, our fisher folks, because na-highlight sila ngayon na during times of war, during times of adversities and like this, we need food on our table. So we have to make sure that there's food security. And there are a lot of good things that are happening also in this country. We try to not belittle or hindi natin siya pabayaan yung mga nangyayari outside na talagang there's really pandemic, there's a lot of crisis going on, a lot of economic recovery na kailangan nating gawin. Pero ang maganda po that there is always a solution for any problem that we have. And there's also an opportunity for us to inspire other people. So here at the Rise Up Talk, we want to inform you, we want to inspire you, and we want to also listen to great minds. And at the same time, when we get to know them, hopefully we can be part of their vision and their advocacy. So this evening po, we are so blessed to welcome Secretary William Dar. Good evening po sa inyo. Welcome po to the Rise Up Talk. Kamusta po kayo, Secretary?
Naman po at nandito tayo ngayon sa bahay during weekends. And yeah, but while here also monitoring developments nationwide in regard to ensuring food security activities.
Thank you, Secretary, for really accepting our invitation. I'm sure maka-inspire po kayo sa maraming nanonood sa atin ngayong gabi. And Ms. Cherrie, welcome to the Rise Up Talk and congratulations for being the Food Security Ambassador of the Philippines. Kamusta ka, Ms. Cherrie?
Thank you very much, Jewel, for inviting me here also with Secretary William Dar. Sabi ko nga parang me and Secretary William Dar were like every 2 weeks in all sorts of webinar from Manila Times and other platforms. But it's so good to be in Rise Up Talk with him, really discussing the recent beautiful report to the World Bank of the Secretary.
Yes, and I was so blessed to also meet the Secretary during your appointment as Food Ambassador of Food Security. It was just a quick one, pero nakita ko po how hard working the both of you. And I'm so happy also to announce that we are bringing in like the millennial like you, Ms. Cherrie, to inspire the young people on how they can be part of the agricultural development programs of our Department of Agriculture. So Secretary, congratulations po sa inyong report for World Bank. And one of the things po na sinabi niyo doon is that during this pandemic, there is a recovery program. Meron tayong recovery program to achieve poverty reduction. So Secretary, can you elaborate to us these programs that you have started po?
Yeah, thank you again, Joel and Cherrie. during the pandemic, number one priority will always be making sure that there is enough food for every Filipino. So, although initial days of the pandemic ay maraming challenges in terms of movement, but over time, with Cherrie and other partners doing and helping, we were able to move things to where they are mostly needed, like Metro Manila.
Mhm.
Food supplies in general were uh, just good enough for every Filipino, but all the logistics and movement were the problems. But as I've said, in spite of all of these challenges, ang sektor ng agrikultura dito sa second quarter ay lumago, at ang ibig sabihin po ay pagtutulungan natin lahat at additional resources ay mas kaya pa na magbigay ng contribution, malaking contribution ang sektor ng agrikultura sa ating ekonomiya. And that's what we are trying to again give this message across to all key players, the decision makers, the policy makers of the country, para ito na yung time to transform Philippine agriculture to where it should be. Presently with the raw materials produced out of agriculture, it contributes 10%. Pag dinagdag mo pa yung galing agribusiness, ay malaki-laki. So additionally, 15-20%. So maganda pangitain ito na very resilient ang mga farmers, mga fisher folks, at saka lahat po na nagnenegosyo. During this pandemic, it gave us also opportunity to reboot in terms of yung development framework of Philippine agriculture. So ano po yung mga basic strategies, mga enablers, what are the basic objectives, of course, and what are the key result areas that we need to look at and monitor. So lahat ito ay with the pandemic that is presently affecting the whole country, ay talaga dapat itama mo yung development framework para lahat po yung mga plano, programa, proyekto sa agrikultura ay naka-anchor dito para there's no waste of money or waste of resources, para lang every step to implement this new rebooting strategy ay towards increasing the contribution of agriculture to the Philippine economy.
Thank you, Secretary Dar. And nakita namin, no, even with my discussion with Ms. Cherrie, yung restrictions po na nangyari during pandemic has affected our farmers po and the fisher folks. And in fact, Ms. Cherrie is one of those key leaders that initiated also na mabenta po ang mga pwedeng maging waste na mga production po ng ating mga farmers. So, Ms. Cherrie, can you share with us how you responded? It was a response po from her, from her heart's desire na matulungan lang po ang farmers natin, kasi during pandemic nakita natin na andyan na lahat ng produce pero hindi po mapalabas sa consumers, and nawala din yung part na the trader part, nawala din yung involvement nila, and the supply chain has been affected. So Cherrie, can you share with us how you were able to become part of that change, no, during this pandemic na sinasabi ni Secretary Dar also na talagang nagtutulungan lahat?
Thank you so much, Jewel. No, actually during this pandemic, it's pretty eminent that the private sector and the government actually has been helping each other to really help our farmers. Like for example, as in Agria, we just responded to the call of farmers. It's because most of these farmers actually are part of Agria network. They may not be in Marinduque or Siargao where we mostly operate, but a lot of them attended our programs, especially the capacity building programs that we've been doing. So naaalala nila kami, even if they're in Mindanao, Visayas, and North Luzon area specifically. So during the pandemic, I know we launched the Move Food Initiative, right? But I guess when we were like shipping a lot of produce from the provinces, I remember we were shipping 50 tons of mungo from Mindanao, especially from our farmers in Maguindanao. I had no place to put them. Kasi 50 tons is 50 tons. There are a lot of mungo. So I asked help from the secretary, William Dar, to actually provide us like a place na temporary warehouse. So we got to use the FTI in Taguig, no? Which is actually also katabi namin doon yung Kadiwa, Ani at Kita, which is a program of secretary to help more farmers, not only in Luzon, but also more importantly in the food basket of the Philippines, yung sa Mindanao area natin. But aside from that, what's beautiful, I guess, with the movement, if you see right now, after that we launched Move Food, 3 days after the lockdown, so many online platforms came out and so many young people are more engaged in the supply chain because a lot of them they launch apps for online marketing, they launch a service for transportation of produce. So in that sense, I think we help in inspiring other private sectors to not just sit and wait for their food, but be more active and proactive to really get a hold of their food. And second one is our goal lang is to actually help these farmers because you know me, I've been with farmers for 22 years and during this pandemic, if pinabayaan lang yon, yung produkto nila, for sure, nothing will really happen in agriculture. But I'm so thankful we have a very, very good leadership with Secretary William Dar. Nasabi ko nga sa kanya dati, Sec, grabe ha, you're like senior citizen, hindi ka na pwedeng lumalabas. Pero araw-araw, nandun siya sa FTI, sa mga NFA warehouses, rice warehouses, kung saan-saan ang mga kadiwa, ani at kita na markets, just to make sure also that our farmers are really helped. And I think that sign of leadership inspired a lot of us to continue the work kasi may support yung gobyerno at you have good leadership to look up to.
Yes, I'm so inspired myself actually to hear from the both of you. It's because your passion for really helping the Filipino people, especially the farmers and the fisher folks, really is transforming lives. So konting gawa na maganda, maraming natutulungan na farmers. And Secretary, you mentioned kanina that this is a time also na nagre-reboot tayo, and at the same time, imagine mo with the challenges, umangat pa ang growth, may growth pa nangyayari. So this is really a very good and a very significant indication that we can do better kung wala pang pandemic. So, yes, Secretary. And, Secretary, can you tell us because I can see that you were ready. I mean, you were ready during pandemic when all the others were not. In fact, napaghandaan nyo na ba to, Secretary? I mean, nobody was prepared, but the way you responded po to the call of everyone needing food security during pandemic ko is really excellent. So how did that happen? How did that happen, Secretary?
Thank you, Joel, and again, Cherrie, for all this, help. Let me mention from the very start, talaga alam namin na ito ay grabing pandemya, itong COVID-19. And we have to harness the power of the family, the DA family, and the partnership that we have with the LGUs and the local government units. I mean, they are there in the front line, including, of course, the private sector, the business people, and also having to inspire and bring hope to the countryside with the farmers and fisher folk. So during pandemic like this, we really have to have our eye on the ball. I mean, having to secure food for every Filipino, but at the same time seeing to it that you have partners to move the food supplies from the provinces to the market areas. So ang dami pong mga, so may planning, mayroon kaming dun sa DA, dito sa DA, dalawang grupo yung we divided the work. Isang grupo yung task force on food resiliency. So to look at food productivity, food accessibility, affordability, price stability, food safety. So lahat yan, it's all about seeing to it that the food is available and the food must be accessible. The second task force that we created in the department ay yung continuity of service. In spite of the work from home arrangements for a number of months, ay talagang we see to it, we saw to it na mayroon nandun sa front line. So again, highlighting the point na agriculture people, the farmers, the fishers, yung lahat po sa DA, sa private sector engaged in agribusiness, ay frontliners talaga po sila. So ako talagang saludo doon sa response ng private sector. Now, early days of the IATF, let me mention na talagang yung pusang presentation sa IATF, kasi itong IATF has become the policy body for major activities during this pandemic, not only to look at the health issue like pandemic, but to look at other challenges, socioeconomic issues, national security, food security, and the like. So talagang pinaglaban natin early days of the IATF and until now, of course, that, ang palagi kong ginagamit na linya ay, the importance of having to manage hunger this early ay equally important doon sa pag-manage ng COVID-19.
Right.
Food is as equal as the medicine or anything about health. So yun, that dictum ay always parang repeat refrain na nangyayari. And lo and behold, ay majority, if not all of the IATF membership ay nakita nila yung kahalagaan ng pagkain at saka affordable prices. So ito napakita na natin itong last 6 months and continue to be so.
Oh, thank you for that, Secretary. Secretary, one of the things also that you have mentioned in the World Bank report is your program on Plant, Plant, Plant. Ms. Cherrie is also one of the many farmers you have that started her life also doing planting, and how it has helped her and helped a lot of people. So, Secretary, can you inspire our viewers? When did you start this program on Plant, Plant, Plant? Was it just during pandemic or before pandemic? Kayo po ay talagang ito na yung campaign.
Yeah, Joel, something important, something that will touch the imagination kako ng every Filipino must now be put in place. So, ganun ang ating rationale. We have been doing ang daming national banner programs and projects ang DA, pero we need to elevate the way we put up programs. So ang sabi ko, kung naintindihan na agad sa banda ng infrastruktura, yung build. So this around, this is about April already. After 2 weeks, sabi ko, something must catch the imagination of every Filipino. So Plant was born. So over time, naging umbrella program na ngayon to really highlight the importance of agriculture and food. And Plant program has is not only catering to crop production but also to livestock and poultry and fisheries. So lahat yung subsectors ng agrikultura ay kasama doon sa plan. So ganun po, every Filipino from there, mayroon isang programa na hihikayatin natin ang mamamayan kahit yung mga mamamayan sa mga urban areas kagaya ng Metro Manila. So, di ba, ang lockdown talagang you have to stay 2 weeks inside your house or inside your compound. So, what must the Filipino do? Sabi ko, mag-gardening na lang. So, urban agriculture, urban farming has given birth to talagang malakihan. We refocused the budget of our national banner programs and allocated 500 million to really put in place the urban agriculture program. And again, I would like to highlight na ang ganda po yung dating, yung impact, yung now initial outcomes, of this urban agriculture. Ang daming gusto magtanim, ang daming gustong mag-produce ng kanilang pagkain. So, kakibat ng urban agriculture yung faith. Ano po itong faith? Food always in the home.
Wow.
So,
I like that. Food always in the home. Hey.
Let's keep faith because the pandemic is still going on and we need to continuously produce our food, and this will complement what is now produced by the farmers and fishers in the commercial fields.
Wow, congratulations again, Secretary, kasi ang gandang plan, madali siyang maalala at parang madali siyang gawin. So, what an innovative way to think na very positive pa. Hindi siya negative ang impact, but very positive and doable. In fact, Miss Cherrie is really an example of that. That's why it is just so right that she's a food security ambassador kasi she lives in Makati district, but her rooftop is filled with plants. Tapos Secretary, dahil sa kanya po, napatanim na rin po ako. At saka marami na ho tayong mga kumbaga tribo ng mga kaibigan na gumagawa na rin ng pagtatanim here and abroad, even our OFW. So, Ms. Cherrie, can you share with us how you started it, yung plant? Kasi sabi ni Secretary, April lang yan na nagising o na panganak, no? But si Cherrie, of course, she's a farmer, pero itong pandemic, mas madami kang mga plants dyan na ako'y nag-benefit na rin.
Yeah, kasi Jewel nga ako kasi kung wala yung pandemic, I always live in Marinduque. Nakatira ko sa Marinduque or Siargao. So kada umaga yan, pagkagising ko, I go to the farm and really plant. I have a model farm in Marinduque, which I also grow our food. And the employees also live in our farm. They have free access to food from our gardens. But during this pandemic nga, sabi ko, wala na tayong mapuntahan. So we need to really do something. Actually, nagtanim ako sa rooftop ng building. And then somehow, hindi pa yan pinayagan ng aming building, ng aming admin. So I'm a guerrilla urban gardener. Sabi ko, bahala kayo dyan. Kung hindi niyo ako payagan, basta I will plant, I will spend in buying pots, I will spend in buying seeds and soil, and to do my farming. But ngayon, alam mo ba, halos lahat ng sa building nanghihingi na ng gulay sa akin. Yun naman talaga yan eh. So, unahan mo lang, ang lahat sila susunod. So ngayon, I'm really greening the entire rooftop. At I receive a lot of messages now from people living in Metro Manila na nasa building, lalo na sa Makati, no? They're always asking me, Chairs, bakit hindi yan i-adapt na Makati Business Club yung program mo to require all rooftop of all buildings in Metro Manila, especially in Makati, to do it? Sabi ko, wait lang ha, I'm also setting an example because I live in the 20th floor and yung building namin medyo mataas. Siyempre, I'm an agriculture graduate, no, horticulturist. So, pinag-aaralan ko rin yung wind, yung climate, yung init, yung lakas ng ulan. And then, I'm really recording everything so that later on, if Makati Business Club will adopt it and all other buildings in Metro Manila will adopt it, I can develop a manual na ito yung mga tanim na pwedeng tumubo kahit malakas yung hangin, malakas yung ulan. So I'm trying to experiment everything. And second one is when the Plant program of Secretary William Dar came out, ay, ang sarap kasi nag-harvest na ako ng kangkong ng time na yon. So sabi ko, wow, what a very good program, and I will be very supportive of that. So what we did is we launched the food garden program in Marinduque. We partner with our bishop, our bishop in the Cathedral of Marinduque to actually implement it. At alam mo ba, Jewel, di ba dati yung business namin sa Agrea sa Marinduque, we plant vegetables and we sell it. Ngayon sabi ng admin namin doon, Miss Che, wala na tayong mapagbentahan kasi nagpa-food garden contest kayo, lahat na ng bahay nagtanim, wala nang bibili sa palengke. Sabi ko, oh, that's a very good reason actually, that's our goal, for them to grow and to have food on their table. So we need to innovate what kind of agribusiness we need to do again kasi we reach na yung household level farming. But the third intervention, I think, that is we did, to support the plant when it was released. Lahat ng tao nagtatanong na paano kami maka-access sa seeds, seedlings, and all this. So we launched the Agria Grow Kits. Alam mo ba, Jewel, ngayon, we have more than 2,000 orders of our grow kits. At pinapatubo namin siya sa Lukban, Quezon, no, sa aming partner farm doon. At we really help the coconut farmers. We use the mga coco peat to produce it. At nakakatuwa kasi right now, a lot of organizations like Rotary Club, Zonta International are approaching us, and CSR of companies are approaching us. So 2 days ago, we delivered almost 200 grow kits in Tondo, Manila, and we are delivering 400 grow kits in Cavite and Batia na relocation sites of the government for them to really implement this one.
Wow, that's really, really very, very inspiring, Cherrie. And Secretary, nakita ko po as she is explaining that there is business in plant na hindi po masyado na experience ng karamihan. Kasi pag sinasabi pong farming, kailangan may malaki kang lupa. Kailangan meron kang tractor, kailangan meron kang ganyan. But with what Cherrie is doing po, Secretary, can you enlighten our viewers na meron talagang business na makakatulong sa kada pamilya when they start planting po?
Yan, tama po. Alam niyo, ang pagtingin dapat sa agrikultura ay a business proposition. Hindi lang tanim-tanim. Of course, mayroon mga hobbies na nagtatanim for the sake of, yun na talagang gusto nila. Pero if a person, a professional would like to venture into agriculture, to farming, dapat iplano niya maigi kasi it has to be done as a business model always. Palagi ko sinasabi yon. And number one, you have to see to it that you have a market or alam mo kung saan mo i-market para hindi ka malulugi initial venture mo. We have this framework called inclusive market-oriented development sa agriculture. Ang ibig sabihin, you have to always plan for any agricultural enterprise, market-oriented yan palagi or market-linked. And you have also to consider yung management of the risks. Kasi agriculture, very risky yan with the weather, the soil, if not rich or healthy. You have to bring in science and technology every step of the way because technology and innovation would be the engine of growth dito sa agriculture. Otherwise, you will be left behind. You will not have the best of productivity and the income that you so desire. So maraming mga programa, proyekto na advocating now itong inclusive agribusiness model sa agriculture. And we have programs I can mention later on that would encourage the younger generation to get involved in agriculture and in agribusiness. So lahat ito ay na-introduce na, except na dumating itong pandemic ay with all these lockdowns, talagang may naantala. But our energy, our passion to make it possible for that thinking that agriculture must be made a business proposition, that's the vision we would like to see. You know, a food secure and resilient Philippines with prosperous farmers and fisher folk in tandem with the agripreneurs. So ganun po ang pananaw natin. All these years talagang agrikultura ang dating lang ay okay, production. Production. Ngayon, dapat agribusiness na. Kikita ba ako dyan? And that's one way to entice the younger generation today to go back to farming. Kasi dati-dati, ang pananaw nila ay walang income, walang profit. And with now digital agriculture, the more that you now can now invite and entice the younger generation to come to farming and agribusiness.
That's why ho, Secretary, maganda po ang tandem din ninyo ni Miss Cherrie, no, sa inyong mga programa and all the other partners of Department of Agriculture. Kasi po talaga, we cannot anymore take out technology in our system. And I believe in what you said po, that there must be science and art in agriculture development po. And it's so good to know po that you are very supportive of our agripreneurs. And for those ho, di ba Secretary, meron na ho tayong term ngayon, plantita, plantito, plant mommy. Napakaganda po na may response agad ang tao sa inyong plant program at saka na magnify ng technology po, and at the same time ho, yung mga gusto pong mag-start. Okay, yung mga gusto pong mag-start, kasi hindi po, ako naniniwala po ako that Filipinos are really entrepreneurial. Sometimes po, kailangan lang silang mabuksan ng susi ng kanilang entrepreneurial spirit. Pero ho, they also need a home where they can go to, meaning may access po sila for resources. So sa atin pong mga kababayan na nanonood ngayon na gusto mag-umpisa na hindi kailangan sobrang mahal po, ang Department of Agriculture po ba, merong programa for this na nagbibigay ho kayo ng libreng seedlings or mga seeds also para makastart lang po ng at least bahay kubo, fruits and vegetables doon sa kanilang bakuran ho, Secretary?
Joel, let's start by saying itong urban agriculture, dito sa Metro Manila, we divided that into two zones. Yung Quezon City and Caloocan City, which are two big cities in Metro Manila, ay naka-assign yan sa Agricultural Training Institute. So they have more than enough resources to give out starter kits, yung grower kits na sinasabi ni Cherrie. And they not only household urban gardening, but community farming in the city also is needed or is being pursued. The other parts of Metro Manila is given the Bureau of Plant Industry is given the lead responsibility. So ganun po ang division of labor. Now sa provinces, mayroon tayong lahat including the cities in the various regions, may regional field offices tayo. So they are also giving out support for household gardening, community farming, and to some extent commercial farming. Now, there are other parts of the national banner programs implemented in the region na talagang may ayuda na binibigay ng kagawaran ng pagsasaka. Kagaya sa rice farming, may mga seeds, inbred or hybrid at saka fertilizer. Of course, kakibat na yan ng extension and training and credit. Dumadami po yung credit facilities para dun sa ating mga farmers sa kanayunan. Now, what about, what are the newer programs na pwedeng itap ng younger generation sa pagnenegosyo, even the old professionals in agribusiness? Number one, meron tayo yung capital access for young agripreneurs. Ito po ay under the administration ng ACPC, yung Agricultural Credit Policy Council. At magbibigay yan ng loan as high as 500,000 kada individual at zero interest. So, payable in 5 years itong kaya. Now, this is for the younger generations, 18 years old to 30 years old. Now, mayroon din para sa batikano na or veteran na doon sa pagnenegosyo sa agrikultura, yung anyo agrinegosyo, anyo program. Ito ay kasama na rin dito yung mga OFW, sinama po na natin sila dito. At any individual or cooperatives can borrow as high as 10 million pesos. Zero interest, ito payable in 5 years. So malaking opportunities po just to start up the whole mindset, as you said, for agribusiness to flourish in the country. And talagang may mentoring process na sinusundan yan. And there are other programs other than these loan programs. Dito sa during the pandemic, let me cite 2 programs. Ito sa mga farmers and fisher folk ay 25,000 po ang mautang kada household, zero interest payable in 10 years. And micro small enterprises in agriculture can borrow as high as 10 million with zero interest payable in 5 years. So talagang gusto natin negosyo ang orientation. On top of the subsidies that we do give to the small farmers and fishers.
You know, there's so much hope. It's so encouraging. Thank you po, Secretary. Kasi kung hindi niyo po explain po yan, all of us will just think na mahirap po mag-umpisa. Yun pala ho, ito naman talaga ang totoong leadership na ginagawa ng isang departamento na ini-involve po lahat, and at the same time, binibigyan po talaga ng chance na may access to funds ang ating gustong mag-umpisa. So, I am very hopeful na marami sa nanonood natin dito na at least pwede kayong mag-enroll dyan sa program na yan as a young agripreneur, or kung meron ka naman existing cooperative, at least you can borrow 10 million, tapos may zero interest rate pa for 5 years, and then may mga ibang farmers, I'm just so surprised, no? Maganda talaga na nakaka-inspire itong mga programa ng Department of Agriculture na pwedeng humiram ng 25,000 pesos ang kada pamilya. Kasi with that, and with planting, alam ko makaumpisa na ho talaga sila ng basic of planting, and then mabibenta na rin nila ang kanilang ginagawa po. So, sa ating mga nanonood ngayon, all you need to do actually is go to the Department of Agriculture website and do not hesitate to call. Kasi minsan kung natatakot ka, ayaw mo mag-umpisa, doon nalalag ang mga dreams ninyo na hindi magkatotoo. But the Secretary also has assured us na napaka-strong ng kanilang paniniwala sa lahat sa atin, na kaya natin umusad at kaya natin mag-progress. Kaya natin maging part po ng economic recovery program ng government on the sector of agriculture. Kasi ho, based on statistics, on other sectors, ito po ay may growth na nangyari. So that means, may pandemic pa yan, so that means there is really potential in agribusiness. And that's good to know, Secretary ho, na meron tayong agricultural training institute. Kasi I think that's what we need. We need to be equipped. We need to know first, kasi ho, we cannot waste our resources naman for something that is as valuable as this, na pwede naman kumita ng malaki at most likely marireduce talaga ho ang poverty in this country. So, Secretary, marami pa kayong programs, pero ano po yung pwede nyong ma-inspire naman po sa iba na mag-boost ng income ang lahat ng sectors related to agriculture, itong pandemic, ano po yung ginawa ninyo? And I read that you have spent 2.6 billion to do this. Ano po yung programa na yun that really boosted the income of agripreneurs around you, around in the country po?
Alam ninyo, dito sa present pandemic, this period, we are looking at 3 to 4 areas, major areas, where the budget of agriculture, Department of Agriculture, has to be given Philip and or focus. Number 1, productivity enhancing projects. Meaning talagang kasi agriculture in the country is characterized as of low productivity. So this is now the time to use the best of technologies and innovations to see to it that per unit area ay tataas yung productivity mo. So yun, that's one major area na tinututukan natin kasi with this pandemic, ang daming distortions of trade between and among nations also. So itaas mo dapat yung food sufficiency level para kukunti na lang yung aangkatin mo kung mayroon pang deficiency. At in general, ang bansa natin ngayon ay matatawag pa rin na food importing country. That's why ayaw natin palagi na ganun ang tawag nila sa Department of Agriculture na nagpapa-import na lang. Ayaw ko po yun. Pero little by little and with good plan and good planning, we will be there towards higher levels of food sufficiency. The second group or area ay yung tinatawag natin na income enhancing projects. Now, kagaya itong ginagawa natin na linking the producers to the farm, to the markets. Yung kadiwa natin na inumpisihan in a big way during these last 6 months, it's becoming a major platform for linking the producers to the consuming public. You know, just to give you a general outcome of kadiwa, with all its forms, mayroon na tayong na-monitor na sales, almost 6 billion pesos as a result of the activity of kadiwa na private sector karamihan ang nagtumulong. And we only catalyzed, we only facilitated this. So linking the farmers cooperatives associations to big players kagaya yung grupo ni Cherrie, tumulong talaga ito si Cherrie. That's why ngayon ay food security ambassador na ng Department of Agriculture.
That's why, Secretary, siya na po ang next kong tatanungin kasi yung business model na ay nagre-reflect doon po sa programa ninyo on increasing income, no, of all from the farmers to the consumers, actually traders. So, can you share a bit about what you did, no, itong pandemic? Nakita ko na maraming nanganganak sa Agria because following that model.
Well, people, Cherrie, kumpletuhin ko na para matapos yung istorya. Yung pangatlong area ay yung tinatawag natin social protection for farmers and fishers. Kasama na ito yung mga loan programs na zero interest, kasama na yung cash and food subsidy, at kasama na eventually yung cash for work program under this. So ito po yung tatlong pinaka major areas na tututukan natin today and in the future.
Okay. Yes, Secretary, we are with you in that when we are supporting you in that as well, and we can use this platform po para ma-inspire pa natin yung mga millennials at saka Gen Z natin, and even our hobbyists at saka mga retirees na nanonood din sa atin. And Cherrie, konting inspiration kasi yung iba pag nakikinig sila ng ganito, kaya ba talagang gawin? Pero nakita ko sa iyo na nagawa mo na So, how did you start and how do you plan to move forward?
Yeah. Actually, talagang kayang gawin. No? Sabi ko nga, pag may gusto, may paraan. Pag ayaw, maraming dahilan. So during the pandemic, if you just count on ayaw, okay lang naman huwag lumabas ng bahay para, safe ka and you will not contribute to this entire movement on food. Pero marami ding magugutom at maraming farmers na hindi matutulungan. So may magugutom both producers and consumers. So I guess during this pandemic, of course, we launched the Move Food Initiative, nanganak ng Agria Rescue Kitchen. Kasi I know the secretary is well aware that during the pandemic, ang taas-taas ng food waste, especially on post-harvest. Kasi yun nga, parang maraming checkpoints, walang mga logistics requirements. Yung iba, I remember, may makuha kami na truck pero wala kaming driver at pahinante. Kasi sabi nila, ay ma'am, natatakot kami mag-deliver sa Manila kasi lahat naka-quarantine. Yung virus daw, hindi naman naka-quarantine. Pero sabi ko nga, sa team ko lagi, we will continue the work because if nagawa natin siya in the worst condition and in the worst time, we can always do in the best times. Mm-hmm. So, like for example, during this pandemic, parang halos hindi ka makakilos. There were times when I remember we wrote a message to the secretary and to the USEC reporting na we had like an order of 15 tons of vegetables that we need to deliver in less than a week. Pagdating sa farmers, 3 farmers lang yung allowed ng barangay to actually harvest the vegetables. So sabi ng farmers, ma'am, hindi namin kaya yung 15 tons. And then I remember that Secretary William Dar talked to the ILG and released memorandum actually that the ILG should also support kasi wala namang social distancing if you practice it in 5 hectares of land. Ang layo-layo nyo na, di ba? So, actually, there are just interventions that need to happen. And moving forward, right now, Agria gave birth to 2 businesses. I think this is like, being an agripreneur is to always address on adverse conditions and, do innovations or even not innovations, just find ways on how to also pivot and not only survive your business, but really thrive. So this pandemic actually, kanina sabi ni Secretary, ang daming programs ng department na naantala. Pero marami ding programs na biglang naganap, bigla. At you know what, Jewel, dati? Yung agriculture hindi naman pinag-uusapan Right now, it becomes mainstream. Mainstream. Imagine ako, millennial pa rin ako, di ba? Kahit mag-birthday na ako. When you go to Instagram, #plantito, plantita, millions of followers. Like, Plantita alone, I think it's like 38 million followers. Plantito, mga 16 million. So never before that agriculture has been talked about.
Actually,
so right now,
if you plant, you're in, para kang
yes.
kasama na sa chill ng mga kabataan ngayon if you plant.
Yeah. Agriculture now becomes fashionable. Pag hindi ka nagtanim kahit ilan siya at konting cactus, hindi ka nakasali ngayon sa pandemic fad. It becomes fashionable, it becomes fad, it becomes fabulous ngayon na lahat ngayon, alugbati, may nagtutusok na ng alugbati, may mga nga nagpapatubo na ng mga onions. And for me, I'm actually very happy for that one because I think for the longest years, we've been crying pansinin niyo naman yung agrikultura. But yun nga, I'm so happy na despite this pandemic, it's really a success that agriculture is, negative 0.5 to positive 1.6. Ang hirap-hirap gawin yon. Minsan nga hindi nagagawa kung wala pang pandemic But this time, sabi nga natin, that's a very good indication. Now, moving forward, agriculture will always create a big role in how we need to change this country. Ang isa ko lang na gusto ko sana mangyari is the government will put more investments in the Department of Agriculture. Especially kasi so far I've been attending a lot of webinars for Bayanihan Act 1, Bayanihan Act 2, but no bias, but the Department of Agriculture is the best framework so far to move forward. Given enough funding, I guess, titriple yung productivity in the agriculture sector.
Yes, and that's really informative, Cherrie, and very also moving. Kasi our country, the Philippines, is really an agricultural country. from the start, di ba, Secretary, that's why siguro ho talaga, the Secretary has created a very effective framework. But thank God also that there's pandemic kasi na-focus ang lens, na-focus ang attention ng tao on food security kasi nung lahat ay na-close, lahat ay kailangan ng pagkain. And I was also happy to see na ang mga ibang LGUs nag-respond in such a way na ang pinamimigay nila po hindi lang dilata, kundi mga gulay ho. And I applaud our local government units for responding to Secretary Dar's call to really change the way you think about food security. And yes, Secretary.
Related to that, pasalamatan po natin ng mga iba't ibang local chief executives. They really positively responded. And
Yes.
just to, we were monitoring this, and up to now, ang value ng kanilang purchases from their respective farmers and fisher folk ay nasa almost 3 billion pesos na.
Oh, wow.
Purchase ng mga LGU. So it's such a strong movement to really help back the farmers, and you are also helping your constituencies with fresh and nutritious food packs being distributed.
Yes, Secretary. At saka ho, ang po sa inyo, you are a very wise and experienced leader, but you really work with millennials and the Z generation by even getting James Reid as also an inspiration to the as the Z generation to start also appreciating the value of agriculture, the value of planting, the value of being part in your program. So, Secretary, naisip niyo yun ha, bago mag-pandemic, Secretary, na si James Reid and Cherrie Atilano ay kasama ho ninyo?
Alam niyo, when I was Director General dun sa ICRISAT, we have this program, kasi 15 years ako doon. So, we institutionalized this program. So, nung ako nabigyan na rin, okay, just to highlight, sino bang ambassador namin sa ICRISAT? Bill Gates. President ng India, President of 1.2 billion, mga ganon. So mga political and influential leaders, including economic leaders. So dito sa bansa, nung may pagkakataon na tayo dito sa DM ulit, sabi ko, before the pandemic pa, nandyan na yung plano. But during the pandemic, it accelerated to that level na now is the time to put in place this program of Goodwill Ambassador. So James Reid, why James Reid initially? Kasi marami rin, alam niyo kayo na mga artista ay may following. So we want the younger generation na yung may passion, may energy na promoting a good portion of the agriculture sector. So James Reid was trying to start to promote urban gardening. Now, of course, I have known Cherrie all this time. Sabi ko, si Cherrie, the very factor na talagang very positive siya sa Goodwill Ambassadorship. Yung sinabi ko last time na she does the work, yung talagang as model, yung farming, yung agribusiness, she walk the talk, something like that. Yung example talaga. So maraming mahihikayat ng mga millennials to really come to agriculture, do farming and do agribusiness. Tayo, I think our average age dito sa bansa ay millennials na karamihan eh. So ganon, we need to tap the power of the millennials.
Wow. Alam mo, as secretary, parang ini-envision ko po na may isa kayong poster, ikaw, si Cherrie, at saka si James Reid. Programs of it's really very powerful. We get the wisdom and the experience from you, and at the same time, the resources, and then we're talking to the millennial, the Gen Y generation, and then the Gen Z. Of course, we will include other people there, but definitely, Secretary, it's a brilliant idea to involve the young people nowadays. Kasi sila po ang mabilis mag-share nito sa public. Itong ating usapan po, this will reach millions because of them. And that's really excellent of your department with your leadership po to have thought of getting James
Uh,
Cherrie and have this.
Itong naumpisahan na ganitong dialogue, interaction, ang ganda kung pagpatuloy mo. At
Thank you.
Isama natin si James Reid, 4 tayo dialoguing.
Yes po, Secretary, isama ko na rin ho ang mga beauty queens ko na mga kapamilya naman para ho they will be the voice also in their own platforms po para ho marami na rin tayo na mag-adapt ng program ninyo, Secretary. At saka this is not actually para excited na ako to be working with Cherrie and you po and hopefully with James Reid in the next few months, hopefully sa mga programs to Secretary. But I hope that, and I pray to the Lord that He will give you good health and at the same time protection sa inyong paglalabas po. And Secretary, dito sa amin we really encourage people to learn and be inspired and to listen to great minds also and great stories. Kasi ho, Secretary, kung hindi ho kayo pumayag sa amin ngayon, we wouldn't know really how far you've gone to really have the heart for every Filipino, especially for our farmers and fisher folks na magiging prosperous din po ang buhay nila. Pero as what you've said ho, and then Cherrie also, na kailangan po tulong-tulong, we have to be inclusive, na merong interagency cooperation. And at the same time, tama, Cherrie, baka pwedeng humingi sa next budget na dagdagan ang budget sa agriculture, sa ating presidente naman. At saka ho, yung mga private organizations, I'm sure they are so willing to help you po, Secretary, sa inyong programa. And here at our Rise Up Talk, this is just a platform we are using now, especially during pandemic po. Kasi we also want to talk to the young people, inspire them. Kasi sila po talaga mabilis kumalat ang balita sa kanila. And this is a good news from your mabilis pa sa 4:00. So this is really a good news for everyone. And marami pa tayong pag-uusapan even with OFWs. Kaya lang ho, we don't want to keep your time right now. But I hope to work with you closely also and Cherrie on your programs po. But I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart at on behalf of Filipino people po na gusto rin magpasalamat through us. I'm sure magsusulat po sila, magtatanong. We will direct that to your office po and to Miss Cherrie who is now our food security ambassador. So may I ask na lang po for your final inspirational message po sa aming nanonood ho, Secretary.
Then, let me thank our beloved presidency at mahal natin Pangulo Rodrigo Roa Duterte for all the support he has given us in the sector of agriculture. Yesterday, he signed the Bayanihan Part 2. And the Department of Agriculture will be getting about 24 billion pesos as additional budget to start the recovery of Philippine agriculture, helping the economy much better this time around. So 24 billion will be used. And again, yung tatlong major areas na sinabi ko kanina will be the areas where we will be investing this, yung productivity enhancement projects, income generating projects, and the social protection and amelioration projects. So, dun sa 2021, we were in the House of Representatives Committee on Appropriations. Ang very solid support ang nakuha po natin. Gusto nila dagdagan ang budget ng DA. So we were praying na hopefully dito sa 2021 it will come up to the level of 128 billion from 89 billion presently as recommended by the National Expenditures Program. Ay gusto nila dagdagan ng 42 billion. So that's a very positive development. Ang daming gustong tumulong kasi nakita na nila na in spite of pandemic ay pwedeng positive pa rin ang impact ng agrikultura sa ating bansa. And what more kung mas madagdagan yan, ng pondo at maganda po ang implementasyon itong pondo na ito at sisiguruduhin po natin. That's one thing I will assure those policy makers. Sabi ko, when I started dito sa DA, no to corruption. That's also the program of the President, and I will continue to uphold that conviction. No to corruption, yes to good governance. So wag tayong mawalan ng pag-asa dito sa bansa natin. Ang ating bansa ay babangon, ang ating ekonomiya ay babangon, ang ating sektor ng agrikultura ay babangon, ang ating mga magsasaka at mangingisda at mga agripreneurs ay babangon. So tayo ay sama-sama, tulong-tulong dito sa pagbangon ng ating bansa. Maraming salamat po sa ating lahat.
Thank you, Secretary Dar. Thank you also. Cherrie, do you have some words that to add kay Secretary?
Na-inspired ako masyado sa kakalisin ko. Sabi ko sana nagsusulat ako na nagsusulat. But alam mo, Jewel, no? Thank you so much for giving us a platform to do discussions on this. Next time nga, dapat isali natin si James Reid. At ngayon, mayroon 2 millennial na isa dito ay sumasali din sa Miss Universe na nanonood ngayon at mga celebrities na kilala ko. So, mention ko lang si Paulo Cruz at Eliza
Yes.
Malinaw. Ito yung mga, si Jewel, di ba, Secretary? She's Miss Universe 1998. So, dapat, Jewel, lahat ng mga Miss Universe.
Kaya yan, Cherrie, with the help of your charm and kay Secretary then, we can bring them together in your program.
Sige po.
Oo, at saka ho, ang
Ngayon, na nagpa-plantita, dadalhin.
Hello? Yeah. Okay, I think we have some interruptions right now, but Chair, okay, I heard you so well. Meron may konting delay lang. That's part of the tech glitches, but it's okay. Again, sabi po ni Secretary, don't worry, we are in full support of all your programs po. And sabi nga ni Secretary, babangon tayo lahat. That's what our platform is for. Rise Up Talk was born because of pandemic. We want to rise up. We want to reach out. We want to inspire. We want to serve. We want to empower with the help of someone up there who is the maker and giver of everything for us. So, Secretary, naniniwala po kami, nai-inspire po kami sa ginagawa ninyo at saka yung buong departamento. And we are so grateful that the agencies are working hand in hand with you so that all your programs po magagawa at meron pong trickle-down effect po sa mga mahihirap po natin na mga kababayan. And we will really have to have a positive mindset every day. Yun lang talaga, Secretary. And you are an example to that. You never get tired. You are relentless. And we want everyone also to share that kind of passion for helping our nation. So from the Rise Up Talk po, we are really grateful for your presence and your insights and your wisdom, Secretary, and the inspiration that you gave us tonight. Maraming salamat to our Department of Agriculture Secretary, Dr. William Dar. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. And of course, congratulations to Cherrie Atilano, the Philippine Ambassador on Food Security. So, for any access po of information, just go to da.gov.ph. They have all the information for you. And you can visit Agria website as well. And you can visit Rise Up Talk website as well for information like this. Pwede niyo po itong i-share sa ating mga kababayan na gustong matutunan itong pinag-usapan natin. So I hope next time I will see you. Maraming salamat po. We will all rise up together and we will heal as one. So God bless you all.
God bless. God bless
Thank
all.
you.
Please visit us at www.riseuptalk.com. You can upload your videos and the stories of your life in this platform. First, you have to sign up and fill out the form. Then we will send you an email confirmation. After that, you can upload your videos. Here at Rise Up Talk, your story makes a difference.